The transmission was impossible to ignore. Across the Empire's vast expanse, every world, every relay, every screen flickered to the same feed. The High Regent stood atop a blackened dais, overlooking a colossal pit filled with human prisoners of war. Soldiers, engineers, medics, even children, 7 million of them huddled in chains. The Regent's voice was cold and triumphant. Earth defied the Empire. Earth dared to resist. And today, the galaxy will see the price of defiance. The slaughter began with a gesture. Orbital plasma cannons fired into the pit, incinerating thousands in bursts of light. Drones released chemical fire that ate flesh from bone. Some captives were dragged screaming into execution squares, their deaths broadcast in lingering detail. For 3 days the horror continued, and when it was over, nothing remained but ash. 7 million human lives had been extinguished on a galaxy-wide broadcast. The message was clear. The Empire wanted humanity erased not just in body, but in spirit. Billions across the stars cheered. Others wept with relief, convinced that humanity's nightmare had finally ended, but far beyond the Empire's reach. In the shadows of forgotten star systems, Earth's survivors watched in silence, and in their silence something ancient stirred. They did not weep, they did not beg, they armed themselves. Humanity had been scattered, hunted, and declared extinct, but extinction is not the same as defeat. For decades, hidden colonies in asteroid belts and rogue planets had grown in secrecy. Warships had been forged in black docks. Forbidden A is smarter, colder, more ruthless than any flesh and blood general had been awakened. Humanity had one advantage: no empire could erase memory, and humans remember their dead. On the flagship Judgment Day, Admiral Elias Corrin stood before his officers as the last seconds of the broadcast replayed millions of captives burned alive. His jaw clenched. His voice was steady. They killed 7 million of us. They thought it would break us. Instead, they have armed us. For every human life they ended, we will answer with 1 billion guns. There was no cheer, only a silence sharp enough to cut steel. The first strike came swiftly. An Imperial fortress world, where alien citizens had celebrated humanity's execution, woke to find its skies darkened. The defense grid failed without warning, subverted by human-coded viruses seeded decades earlier. Then came the Terran fleet, black as the void, bristling with impossible weapons. The world burned in hours. Its cities turned to glass. And as billions watched in horror, Human A has hijacked the broadcast to deliver a message. You killed 7 million. We are 7 billion more. For every life you take, we will answer with fire. The galaxy thought humanity gone. Instead, it learned the truth. Humanity had been waiting. They struck at slave camps, liberating entire species in a single night. They toppled supply depots, poisoned fleet reserves, and turned Imperial dreadnoughts into drifting coffins. Their ships moved like shadows, vanishing and reappearing with slipstream drives the Empire could not track. And everywhere they went, the chant spread. 7 million lost, 1 billion guns rise. The High Regent raged. He ordered purges, entire systems annihilated to deny humanity resources. But humanity was not conquering. Humanity was cleansing. At the siege of Corvath, the Empire deployed 30,000 ships. They expected a prolonged campaign, a war of attrition. Instead, the Terran Armada, 2,000 strong, descended like predators. Space-time itself twisted as human weapons fired. Black hole cannons collapsed dreadnoughts into sinking. Swarms of AI-guided drones shredded cruisers into ribbons. In less than a day, the largest armada in Imperial history was nothing but wreckage drifting in the void. Everywhere the broadcasts had once shown the execution of 7 million. Now they showed something else. Imperial fleets burning, worlds crumbling, slave chains snapping. The galaxy had laughed at humanity's end. Now it trembled at humanity's vengeance. Admiral Corrin's voice was broadcast. From the ruins of Corvath, you thought 7 million lives ended us. But humanity does not die, so humanity remembers. Humanity endures, and humanity answers. You wanted to erase us. Instead, you have written your own death sentence. This is not war. This is judgment. The Terran campaign became a tidal wave. Planet by planet, the Empire crumbled. Slave species rose beside humanity, wielding human-forged arms. Worlds that had once cheered the massacre now begged for mercy, but none came. Because mercy had died with 7 million innocents. When the throne world itself fell, its palaces turned to rubble, and the regent dragged screaming from his seat of power. The galaxy understood the price of arrogance. The Empire had wanted to humiliate humanity. Instead, they had awakened a force that would never kneel again. 7 million humans had been lost, but in their place had risen 1 billion guns, 1 billion voices, 1 billion hearts burning with vengeance. And from that day forward, the galaxy whispered one truth to its children: do not provoke Earth. For when humanity bleeds, it does not cry, it does not surrender, it answers with fire.